Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide to Alexander the Arm of the Father, the third encounter in the Alexander raid, also known as A3. This guide will cover the normal difficulty of the raid. To unlock this fight, you must first have completed the Cuff of the Father and accepted the quest following it. The minimum item level to enter this fight in the Duty Finder is I-170, and it rewards tokens that can be traded for item level 190 armor and accessories. For a more detailed explanation of the loot system, be sure to check the annotation in the top right of the video. Before the boss, you'll have to clear out a few mobs consisting of several Orobon and Uragnite enemies. There's also AoEs falling from the sky, and there's a Clay Claw guarding the path at the top of the stairs that uses Tail Screw for high damage plus a damage over time effect, but it can be stunned or pacified. Kill the mobs, run down the stairs on the other side, and you will encounter the boss, Living Liquid. Living Liquid is a two-phase encounter. To skip to a specific phase, please use the annotations in the top left hand of the video. For a list of the boss's ability rotation, please see the description of the video for the Google Doc. Before starting the fight, please take note of the electricity along the outside of the arena. Stepping into it will cause you to be stunned, paralyzed, and take damage over time, so avoid it as best as possible. At the start of the fight, Living Liquid will start in his human form. He will change forms periodically throughout the phase after a certain amount of time has passed. Try to tank him in the center of the room facing away from the group for most of the fight. In human form, he has a cleave attack on the tank, as well as an AoE called Splash that he will spam 3 times back to back for about 5,000 to 6,000 damage total. He also has several conal AoEs he will face in random directions that will knock back anyone they hit. And finally, he can mark 4 people and perform a small AoE around them shortly after the mark wears off, before also spawning 4 AoE circles under random party members. Just stay spread out, dodge all the AoEs the boss does, and this form is simple. After a minute into the fight, the boss will transform into his hand form and gain new attacks. The boss's cleave now does much higher damage, but can be split amongst everyone it hits. You can either have both tanks split the damage for this phase, or split it with the raid, which may cause several casts to be interrupted, so I don't personally recommend it. He also uses Wash Away, which knocks party members back in a random direction. Just stand in the center of the arena during Wash Away and you probably won't be knocked back into the electricity. After Wash Away, he will use several cleaves back to back before splitting into 2 separate hands. Have the off tank pick up the second hand and face it away from the main tank. Its cleaves now give blunt resistance down stacks, but no longer are so powerful. But that doesn't really matter as long as each tank is tanking one hand separately. After 7 cleaves, the boss will enter its next form. The final form for this phase is Tornado form. While in this form, the boss takes the shape of a tornado in the center of the room. It is invincible during this form, and also has a large AoE around it called Dropsy that inflicts 4k damage per tick if you stand in it. Additionally, the boss pulses room-wide damage and occasionally hits players with contamination, just dealing some extra damage to them. Your goal in this phase is to make sure none of the adds he spawns make it to the electricity along the outside of the room. If they do, the boss gets a permanent stacking damage buff, inflicts a dot on the party, and a long-lasting vulnerability up stacking debuff on the party as well. All of the mobs can be stunned and heavied and die pretty fast, dealing damage to the raid when they die. The Piston Lubricants will eventually cast Mucilage, which causes them to sprint when it finishes casting, so kill them off first or stun that attack. After the first 2 waves of lubricants spawn, an orange tether will attach itself to a random party member. When it disappears, it will deal massive AoE damage to whoever it was attached to. Tank should stand in front of the tether to intercept it from whoever has it, and then move away from everyone else to eat the explosion. DPS and healers, make sure not to walk in the tether's path while the tank has it. During the 3rd wave of mobs, you'll be introduced to the magnet mechanic, called Ferrofluid. 2 players will be tethered together, and either have a charge of ++, -, or +-. If you have ++ or --, it means you will both be knocked back away from each other after Ferrofluid finishes casting, so stand near the center of the room just outside the Dropsy AoE and ensure to not be knocked back into the electricity. If you and the tethered player have opposite charges, meaning +-, it means you will be pulled towards each other when Ferrofluid finishes casting. If you are pulled into each other and you 2 touch, you'll both get a massive overall stat decrease that can't be assumed, similar in power to weakness. Get to opposite sides of the room as close to the edge as possible and you won't be pulled into each other. If you get really close to the edge, you can avoid being pulled into the center AoE, but it's most important that you just don't touch each other. Deal with 6 waves of mobs, 2 magnet charges, and 2 orange tethers, and the boss will change back into human form. At this point, the boss will continue to alternate between these 3 forms until he reaches 35% and goes into Phase 2. Phase 2 consists of some mechanics from every one of the boss's forms in Phase 1, though he'll take the appearance of a human. He will start this phase with Cascade, dealing high damage to everyone that needs to be healed. He will also summon 3 AoEs around the arena like the ones from the Tornado phase that you'll want to avoid standing in. He has all of his human form attacks in this phase, which can be handled the exact same way as they were in the first phase, as well as his cleaves now giving blunt resistance down stacks. I recommend tank swapping after 4 or 5 stacks. Tanks can hold them indefinitely even with the debuff if it's organized, but for the duty finder, I recommend tank swapping. The boss also has ferrofluid, so same deal, plus plus or minus minus, get near the center of the room and try not to be knocked back into the electricity or puddles, and if you get plus minus, get to opposite sides of the arena. This phase is mostly about surviving the damage the boss deals, which is significantly higher, while finishing him off. Expect to have to deal with a few cascades and grats on the kill. Now you can move on to the final part of Alexander Gordius Normal. Thanks for watching my guide to the Arm of the Father on the normal difficulty. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe for more guides, and share this video with your friends. Anyway, I'll see you in the final Alexander Normal guide for patch 3.0, and then we'll see you in 3.2 and in Savage mode. Until then, take care.